The echo of basketballs drummed through the gym like a heartbeat. Squeaks of sneakers, the shrill blast of whistles, shouts of next, cut through the air. Lily stood quietly on the sideline. 16, 5'1", if you rounded up. Arms like wire, coiled tight. Sharp eyes that didn't blink when others stared. She didn't wear flashy shoes. No expensive gear. Just a pair of old Nikes, duct-taped on the side, and a wristband that once belonged to someone she never talked about out loud. Her name was called. She stepped forward. No one cheered. No one whispered, "Watch her." She wasn't one of those girls, the ones already tagged in victory photos before the season began. But Lily knew how to move. She darted up and down the court like wind through trees. Crossovers, fakes, reverse layups. Fast, clean, efficient. Her footwork could make a ghost jealous. Still, when she nailed a perfect three from the arc, the coach didn't lift his head from the clipboard. Instead, he muttered without looking up, "She'll get crushed out there." She heard him. The words hit harder than any screen. For a split second, her steps faltered. Then she caught herself, straightened, but the inside of her cheek. She didn't cry, didn't flinch. She just swallowed it whole like she'd done 1,000 times before. Crushed? Lily dropped back into line, but something in her chest started to burn. Not anger, not sadness. Something colder, sharper, resolve. She remembered what her dad used to say when she missed a shot in the driveway. You don't need height to tower over doubt. Just don't stop climbing. So she climbed. Again and again. Every drill, every shot. She didn't talk. She didn't beg for attention. She let the ball speak for her. The taller girls elbowed each other between reps, giggling. One of them shot her a glance and smirked. "You lost, short stuff?" Lily didn't answer. But the next time she got the ball, she spun past that same girl so fast the squeak of sneakers sounded like applause. Still, no nod from coach. The clipboard stayed closed. And when tryouts ended, Lily stood at the edge of the court, panting, eyes locked on the exit. No one clapped. No one called her name. The coach scribbled something, walked past her without a glance. His voice trailed behind him. Solid effort, but she's not varsity material. Lily stood there, frozen in the sound of it. Not varsity material. Not enough. Too small. But as the gym lights dimmed and the others filed out laughing, Lily picked up a ball. Alone. Silent. She moved back to the free throw line, bent her knees, exhaled. Swish. She stayed. Shot after shot. Long after everyone else was gone. The coach never saw her jaw clench. But that was the moment she made her decision. They didn't have to see her. She'd make them hear her instead. The list went up the next morning, taped to the locker room door, curling at the corners from steam and sweat. Lily didn't run to it like the others. She walked, calm, steady, like it wouldn't change a thing. She found her name. Not under starting five, not even under rotating subs. Just bench. Her chest tightened. Footsteps behind her. Laughter. Yes, height does matter. One of the varsity girls whispered, loud enough to echo. Lily didn't turn. She didn't have to. Their voices stung more than the label. She entered practice like it was war. For loose balls no one else chased. Outpaced the starters on every sprint. Got back up faster every time she hit the floor. She played like someone had stolen something from her. Because they had. They stole belief. And Lily was determined to earn it back with every drop of sweat she left on that hardwood. But coach barely glanced her way. He blew the whistle. "Good hustle, Davis. But you're still not starter material. It's not personal. Size matters. You'll get your time. Maybe next year." Next year? The words wrapped around her ribs like a vice. Every time she reached for the ball, it wasn't just a pass. It was a plea. See me. But no matter how fast she ran, no matter how precise her shot, her height erased her from their calculations. Games came. Bleachers roared. Parents shouted plays from the sideline like they were coaching the NBA. And Lily? She sat, water bottle in hand, legs bouncing under the bench, her jersey crisp, her heart thundering. Coach barked commands, rotated players, never looked her way. She watched as the team lost by 5, then 7, then 2, games slipping like sand through fingers. Still, she sat. Each night she went home with the same story, no minutes, no stat line, just blisters and silence. At school, the starters walked tall, loud, unbothered. Sit tight, Davis, one said with a wink. Bench warm is still a role, right? Lily smiled. Small, sharp. But at night, under the flicker of her bedroom ceiling fan, she whispered to herself the same line. I'm not waiting for a door. I'll break through the wall. So she practiced more. Early mornings. No gym lights. Just the echo of her sneakers in the dark. Free throws. Dribbling drills. Defensive footwork in the silence. Every move said what no one else would. She belonged out there, even if no one believed it yet. The gym echoed with emptiness. Everyone had gone home. The air was still humid from practice, heavy with the scent of sweat, dust, and silent disappointment. The bleachers sat in silence. So did the scoreboard. No more whistles. No more yelling. Just her, Lily, alone at center court. The fluorescent lights above flickered, one stuttering like a failing heartbeat. Shadows stretched across the polished hardwood, long and lonely. She bounced the ball twice. The sound cracked through the stillness. She moved like instinct. Quick dribble, crossover, pivot, up. The ball kissed the rim, rimmed out. She didn't flinch. Grabbed the rebound. Again, again, again. Each shot felt like a scream she couldn't say out loud. Why don't they see me? She turned, sprinted to the baseline, slid into a stop, backpedaled, launched into a three-point shot from the top of the key. Swish. Still, no one saw it. She whispered under her breath, barely audible, I'll make them see me, even if it takes everything. Her arms ached, knees burned, but her body didn't stop, couldn't. Not now. Not after weeks of invisible effort, of sitting in the shadows while taller girls with less fight took the spotlight. Her sneakers squeaked as she cut across the court, pushing through imaginary defenders. Elbow jumper, bounce pass drill, defensive slides, footwork, layups off the glass. No cameras, no fans, no coach, only drive, only grit. She thought of the clipboard, of the word bench next to her name, of the girls who laughed when she walked past, of the coach who called her too small without even giving her a shot. She thought of how her older brother used to cheer for her in the driveway before he left for college. You're not small, he'd said. You're sharp. Be the blade, not the battering ram. She moved faster. The ball became an extension of her breath, one with rhythm, one with rage. Her body collapsed onto the floor, drenched in sweat. Her chest rose and fell in short, desperate gasps. And still, the echo of the coach's voice rang in her head. She'll get crushed out there. She sat up, eyes locked on the rim, lips pressed into a thin, stubborn line. She stood, picked up the ball again, shot, swish. And this time, she didn't say a word, because deep down, she knew something was coming. Something no one would see until it was too loud to ignore. Darkness. Then the soft bounce of a basketball in a quiet driveway under a street lamp. Thump, thump, thump. Lily was 9. Eyes shut, lips pressed together. The ball moved between her legs, behind her back, back again. Her father's voice floated in the summer air, calm, steady, sure. Feel the ball, not with your hands, with your breath. Her brow furrowed. But I can't see it. A chuckle, then his hand on her shoulder. They'll always try to blind you with doubt, Lily. Let your game answer for you. The scene shimmered in her memory like a sun-warmed Polaroid. Her small hands gripping the ball, her dad kneeling beside her in his scuffed sneakers and old Lakers hoodie, sweat glistening on his forehead, but his smile never fading. People will say you're too small, too quiet, too different. He handed her a worn-out wristband, black and faded red. The logo nearly rubbed off. This is for when they stop believing in you, so you don't forget to believe in yourself. She slipped it on her wrist. It was too big then, slid halfway up her arm. Now, it fits perfectly. Back in the gym, Lily sat on the bench during a timeout. The noise of the crowd blurred around her. Her teammates' jerseys swished as they hustled back onto the court. She looked down at her wrist. The band was faded now, threadbare, but it pulsed with something bigger than fabric, memory. She ran her fingers over it. Dad, if you could see me now. Her chest tightened. No, you do. The memory twisted again. A hospital room, white walls, the beep of machines. Her father's voice, now thin, weakened, but still trying to be strong. Lily, don't let the world measure you by inches. She nodded, holding back tears. Play with your heart. That's where your height lives. He died 3 weeks later. She hadn't picked up a basketball for 2 months after that, until she realized she wasn't just playing anymore. She was keeping a promise. Every layup, every shot, every bead of sweat was for him. Back in the gym, she stood up from the bench during halftime, grabbed a ball, and started dribbling. Eyes closed, like muscle memory, like prayer. Let your game answer. Thump, thump, crossover, behind the back, spin. The coach didn't look, but a teammate did. A freshman, watching from across the court, wide-eyed. And Lily? She wasn't trying to prove anything anymore. She was remembering who she was. The gym thundered with the final quarter roar. Championship game. Packed bleachers. Sweat and adrenaline in the air. Lily sat on the end of the bench, bouncing her heel against the floor. She didn't expect to play. Not tonight. Not ever, if coach had anything to say about it. The scoreboard blazed, 51-50. 1 minute left. They were down by a point. The whistle shrieked. A scream followed. Number 23, starter forward, collapsed under the basket, clutching her ankle. A tangle of limbs and pain. The crowd went silent, then gasped. The ref signaled for a sub. Coach stood frozen, clipboard trembling slightly in his hand. She's down, someone whispered. That's our top scorer. We're done. Time stretched. Lily stood slowly. 1 foot, then the other. Coach turned toward the bench. Panic flickered in his eyes. He looked past Lily, then back at her. Everyone else was already on the court or fouled out. No one else was ready. Wilson, he muttered, jaw tight. You're in. It didn't sound like confidence. It sounded like surrender, but it didn't matter. Lily stood, pulled off her warm-up. Her jersey clung to her like armor. She stepped forward, small, wiry, invisible no more. Gasps rolled through the crowd like a wave. She's putting her in? Is this a joke? She's gonna get crushed. Her heart pounded like a drum line, hands slick with nerves. She passed the scorer's table, past the ref, onto the hardwood. The lights burned hotter than usual. The court felt wider, but her vision narrowed. To the ball, to the wristband, to her father's voice in her head. Let your game answer. The opposing team smirked. One girl gave her a slow once-over, then nudged her teammate, whispered something cruel. They laughed. Coach barked from the sidelines, "Just stay out of the way, Wilson." But Lily wasn't here to stay out of the way. She was here to play. Inbound pass. Seconds ticking down. Lily darted toward the wing. The ball never came to her. It stayed in bigger hands, familiar hands. The teams go to shooters, but the defense knew that too. A double team, a trap. 10 seconds left. A wild pass deflected. Loose ball. Lily Dove. She didn't think. She reacted. She slid across the hardwood, scooping the ball before it skittered out of bounds. Her shoulder burned. Her knee scraped. But she had it. She popped up. I scanned. Everyone was covered, except the basket. She was alone. Too small. Huh? She drove. The lane opened for a breath, then snapped shut. She planted. Launched. The tallest girl on the court rose with her, hands out, ready to swat. Lily hung in the air for a split second longer than anyone expected. She twisted, released. The ball arced through the lights like a whisper. Buzzer. Silence. Swish. The gym exploded. Lily landed in a crouch, panting. The bench cleared. Teammates stormed her. She made it. She made it. Lily. Coach stood frozen on the sideline. His clipboard hung limp at his side. His mouth opened, closed. Then, finally, he clapped. Just once. But his eyes, those had changed. Lily's sneakers squeaked against the hardwood as she stepped fully into the light. For a moment, the noise of the gym faded. She could hear her breath, the bounce of the ball, the pounding of her heart fast, hard, defiant. The referee blew the whistle. Game on. She took her position. Nerves coiled in her stomach, but her stance was steady. Her fingers buzzed. Her eyes were sharp, focused, like she'd trained them to be since she was a kid. Across the court, the point guard grinned. "This'll be easy," she mouthed. Inbound. The ball moved fast down the sideline. Lily shuffled, stayed low. Her eyes read everything, the hesitation in the pass, the slant of the shoulder, the slight overstep. She lunged. A blur. The ball was hers. Gasps. Then silence. Then screams. Lily didn't stop to celebrate. She turned, tore down the court like lightning with purpose. A defender gave chase, taller, longer strides, but Lily was quicker. Her ponytail whipped. Her father's old wristband bounced against her arm. She heard him in her head. Make the play before they see it coming. One stutter step. She faked left, cut right. The defender stumbled. Lily launched. A layup kissed the glass. Straight through. The bench erupted. The student section roared. The scoreboard changed 2 points, just like that. Lily didn't smile. Not yet. She turned, jogged back, reset her stance. The crowd still buzzed. Coach stood near the edge of the sideline, arms crossed, jaw slack. I was tracking her like he'd never seen her before. Because he hadn't. Not like this. Next play. A give and go. Lily read it before it happened. She slipped into the passing lane. Nearly snagged it again, fingertips grazing orange leather. Close. Too close for comfort. They're watching me now. But that's exactly what she wanted. A fence. Set play. She pointed crisp, clear. The point guard blinked, then nodded. Lily ran the motion with perfect timing. She came off the screen, caught the ball mid-stride. No hesitation. Pull-up jumper. Swish. Coach's mouth opened slightly. No clipboard. No shout. Just awe. Another play. Lily didn't force it. She passed when it mattered. Cut through gaps. Open space for her teammates. Every move precise. Measured. Like choreography. like she'd danced through this chord in her head 1,000 times before. Because she had. All those nights shooting under broken lights, all those solo drills while the others left. She hadn't just prepared, she designed this moment. The scoreboard kept ticking. Her teammates started feeding her the ball without being told. Trust, earned in seconds. They didn't call her too small anymore. They called her open. Timeout. Coach finally spoke. "Wilson," he said. She turned. That was smart. Real smart. It was the closest thing to praise she'd ever gotten from him. She didn't need more. She just nodded, wiped sweat from her brow, looked at her wristband, breathed in, and went back to the court like it belonged to her now. Because maybe it did. The scoreboard glared like a wound. 42-43. 15 seconds left. The gym was a thunderstorm of stomping feet, shouting fans, and nervous breath. But for Lily, all of it was silent. She stared up at the clock, sweat dripping from her brow, her heart pounding like a war drum in her chest. They were down by one. Coach barked, "Timeout." The shrill whistle split the chaos. The team huddled tight, everyone breathing hard, eyes bouncing, panic rising. The star forward, Keisha, gasped between words. "They're double-teaming me. I can't get clean." Coach looked at the floor, wiped his face with his clipboard. His eyes flicked to the bench, then to Lily. The hesitation returned, that familiar flicker of doubt. Lily saw it, felt it, and waited anyway. "Don't pull away now. Don't shrink." Then, like a spark in a gas tank, one voice lit the moment. It wasn't hers. "Give it to Lily," said the team's center. "Big, bold, sure." Keisha nodded. "She sees the floor better than anyone." Another teammate chimed in. "She's the only one not rattled." Coach blinked, looked around the circle. The murmurs grew from the bleachers. "Wilson? That's the short girl, right? She's on fire tonight." Coach met Lily's gaze. Not reluctant this time. Measured. He nodded. "All right. Wilson gets the shot." Lily didn't flinch. She didn't smile. She just breathed in, like she had on every lonely night under those broken lights. Her hand brushed the fraying wristband on her arm, and she heard it again. Her dad's voice. "When no one believes in you, that's when it matters most." Back on the court, the world snapped back into sound. Crowd roaring, coaches yelling, hands slapping, sneakers squealing. 15 seconds. The ball was inbound. They moved fast. Left side. Keisha dragged two defenders like shadows. Lily drifted toward the arc. Her defender hesitated, just half a step. It was enough. Keisha spun. No look pass. Ball. Air. Hands. Lily caught it clean. 10 seconds. One bounce. Two. Her defender lunged back. She could shoot. She could win. But something shifted. She saw Keisha open under the basket. She could pass. Make the safe play. No one would blame her. But they'd forget her. Her pulse hammered. 8 seconds. You have the shot. Do you have the voice? Let your game answer. She rose up, defender flying toward her. The gym held its breath. Release. The ball left her fingers like a prayer. A perfect arc. Spinning, climbing, falling. The buzzer sounded. The clock screamed. 0:05. 5 seconds to rewrite a lifetime. Lily gripped the ball as if it held every whispered doubt, every sidelong glance, every moment she was told you're too small. The court shrank. Time slowed. The roar of the gym faded into a vacuum. Just breath and heartbeat. This is it. She took a dribble. Low. Sharp. A defender lunged. Lily spun, quick as breath, her ponytail snapping like a whip. She faked left, cut right. 0:03. A second player slid over. Double team. She pump faked. They jumped. She didn't. Wait, wait. They landed. She rose. 0-2. Performed clean. Arms extended. Wrist flicked. The ball left her fingertips like it knew exactly where it belonged. 0-1. Silence fell. Real silence. As if the world held its breath for her. The ball arced. Slow motion. Spinning like the earth itself paused to watch. The gym lights glinted off the ball's surface like it was lit from within. Coach's eyes widened. The crowd leaned forward. A teammate whispered, "Please." Lily didn't move. She just watched. 1 second of flight. 1 second of everything. Her father's voice echoed in her soul. "They'll doubt you. Let your game answer." Swish. Nothing but net. The buzzer split the air. The net snapped like lightning, and for a full second, the world froze. Then, thunder. The crowd exploded. Feet pounded. Voices cracked. Benches emptied. Lily stood motionless, her eyes wide, chest heaving, disbelief and euphoria crashing together in her veins. Keisha tackled her in a hug. Another teammate screamed, "You did it." The gym became a storm of joy. Signs waved. Phones flashed. Fans cried. And Lily, the girl who was too small, too silent, too easy to overlook, was everywhere. Coach stood at the edge of the court, hands on his hips, shaking his head with a grin he never knew he had. His voice barely audible through the chaos. Should have started her months ago. In that moment, Lily didn't think about the bench, or the doubts, or even the win. She thought about a gravel driveway, a porch light, and the sound of her dad's voice humming Sam Cooke in the evening air. Let your game answer. She had, louder than anyone expected. The final buzzer still echoed like a ghost in the rafters. The crowd surged. The noise was deafening, but in the center of the storm, Lily stood still, eyes wide, chest rising and falling in fast, uneven breaths. She clutched her knees for a second, then straightened. Her eyes scanned the gym, the flashing lights, the faces twisted in disbelief, then joy. Her teammates rushing toward her like a wave. But through it all, one figure moved slower than the rest. Coach, half walking, half floating through the chaos, past screaming students and clapping parents, past rivals stunned into silence, past the bench where she'd spent the entire season as just a silhouette in his periphery. He stopped at half court, arms crossed, jaw tight, but his eyes softer. Lily met him there. For a moment, they just stood, two sets of sneakers touching the center logo, old hardwood underfoot, sweat cooling, two hearts racing with very different kinds of realization. He looked at her, not over her, not around her, at her. Finally, he nodded. One solid nod. Then came the words. I was wrong. Simple, quiet, honest. It wasn't a shout, but somehow it cut louder than the crowd. Lily didn't gloat, didn't boast. She just smiled, tired, genuine, full of fire still burning under the surface. I know, she said. Coach chuckled, shook his head, like a man who'd just seen a shooting star and wasn't sure if he believed in magic until now. Behind them, the chant began, soft at first. Leah Y, Leah Y, Leah Y. One voice, then two, then the whole gym roared. L-I-Y, L-I-Y, L-I-Y. It wasn't mockery, not anymore. It was reverence. She turned in a slow circle, her eyes glassy, taking it in. The bleachers stomping. Classmates holding up their phones, capturing the moment. The seniors high-fiving the girl they used to look down on. The rivals watching, stunned, jaws slack. Her team holding up her jersey number with proud fingers. And then the final beat. From the sidelines, Lily's mom wiped her eyes. Tucked beside her was a framed photo of Lily's dad in a folding chair, watching a much younger Lily shoot hoops in the driveway. He wasn't here in person, but in every step she'd taken, every minute she spent grinding when no one looked, he was. Lily looked toward the sky of the gym's ceiling. No words, just breath, just knowing. She turned back to Coach. He reached out a hand. She shook it, firm, equal, not because he gave her a chance, but because she took it. The buzzer rang to start the next game. But this time, Lily wasn't sitting on the bench. She stood at center court, head high, shoulders square, number 11 on her back, wristband snug around her right arm, frayed at the edges, faded with time, but full of memory. They'll doubt you. Let your game answer. Her father's voice echoed softly in her chest. The ref tossed the ball up. Jump ball. She didn't leap. She didn't have to. The center tipped it to her. Instinctively. Naturally. Like they'd been playing together for years. And maybe, in a way, they finally were. The court felt different now. Not smaller. Not bigger. Just hers. The same girls who once rolled their eyes behind her back now raised their hands, open and ready for her pass. The point guard gave her a grin. The power forward called out her name, not in mockery, but in trust. Lily, swing it left. She passed. Smooth, confident. Then cut baseline, eyes scanning, brain 2 plays ahead. A bounce pass came back. She drove. The defense closed in. 2 tall defenders. She could have gone for the shot, but instead she dished it. Quick and clean. Assist. 2 points. Her teammate pointed at her. The bench clapped. Coach nodded. That was the difference now. Before, they saw her as a risk. Now, she was rhythm. From the sidelines, Coach stood with arms folded, but his jaw wasn't tight anymore. He watched her weave through defenders like wine through tall grass. He watched her shout out the play, then switch at mid-drive when she saw the mismatch. He watched her pat her teammates on the back, laugh on the bench, high-five every sub-in. And he smiled. Not the smile of surprise anymore, but of recognition, of respect. She's the glue, he murmured to his assistant. Didn't know I had a floor general sitting on my bench. At halftime, Lily wiped her brow with the bottom of her jersey. The gym buzzed. A younger girl in the stands, maybe 10 years old, leaned forward over the railing, watching her every move. She was small too, but in her eyes. Lily looked 10 feet tall. Back in the locker room, Lily took a seat. The team huddled around her. Not the tallest, not the loudest, but the one they listened to. The coach stepped in, gave notes, nodded toward Lily. Take us home, Wilson. Lily stood. No speech, just a fist held out. The rest followed, one by one. They weren't just a team now. They were her team too. Final image. A slow-motion shot of Lily sprinting back on defense, eyes locked, sweat flying, her father's wristband catching the gym lights as she raises her hand to block the next shot. Because being too small was never the problem. Being underestimated? That was just fuel. The court was empty now. The bleachers silent. Echoes of cheers still clung to the rafters, like the last notes of a symphony refusing to fade. Lily sat alone at center court, legs stretched, ball resting against her side. She looked up at the scoreboard one more time. Final, 42-41. They'd won, but it wasn't the score that lingered in her chest. It was the moment, the stillness, the shift. She exhaled, and somewhere deep inside, something uncurled. Something that had been locked tight for years. The lights overhead buzzed softly, casting long streaks across the polished hardwood. Her reflection shimmered faintly in the floor beneath her. Her hand moved to her wristband. Her dad's. She rubbed the frayed fabric between her fingers, smiled. They saw small, her thoughts whispered. But I play big. Cut to montage images in soft cinematic light, no dialogue, just music rising under her voiceover. Lily at 10, dribbling in the driveway barefoot. Lily, falling hard during a game, being helped up by no one, and standing anyway. Lily watching the starters from the bench, jaw tight, eyes burning. Lily now midair, wrist flicking the game-winning shot. Her teammates wrapping her in a hug. Her coach, watching from the sidelines, eyes full. Voiceover, Lily, gentle, firm, steady. They put me on the bench because of what I wasn't. Tall enough, loud enough, strong enough. But heart doesn't measure in inches. It measures in everything you do when no one's watching. A slow dolly out shot, Lily stands. Walks the court alone, ball under one arm. The lights dim behind her. One final glance back. She nods, not to the scoreboard, not to the crowd that's no longer there, but to herself. The girl who kept going. The girl who was always more than enough. The girl who knew her worth, even when no one else did. Final voiceover, soft, cinematic. I'll never sit quietly again, because I wasn't born to take up space. I was born to own it. Fade to black.